Hello, everybody. Welcome to match 2 of Goomba v. Mclagging. My name is Kern. I am joined on comms by Mercer. How are you doing, Mercer?
Pretty good. Looking forward to this one. Watched game 1 a bit from chat's perspective and happy to call game 2 here.
Yeah, Goomba taking out Magnificent early in the tournament, which, of course, you know, as a fan of Mark, I'm very upset about. And Mclagging going 2-1 versus Frostbite before this. So this is around a 32 match. Goomba did take game 1, though, via Mclagging, right?
Yes, and Mclagging has chosen to do a mode change of a standard open. So they'll get a guaranteed weapon off Uncle to start with, potentially bombs, probably an item of some kind. Always fun to see that and the different possibilities there. Anything in particular you would be rooting for to watch them go through Escape with?
I always think it's fun to see people's bow strats, because that can get kind of interesting. But of course, bomb strats are like the execution thing that can be really variant. What about you?
I actually enjoy watching people go through with Burna because trying to farm with Burna is really difficult.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could be, because then you have to make some hard choices about like how much you farm, or do you go out of your way to pick up small magic pods?
But yeah, I'm not sure what. I mean, I know if we ask them, there's like a 95% chance they would say bombs, because then you don't have to worry about actually finding bombs for the back of Escape.
Yeah, that's true. But then there's always the possibility that, you know, you choke on stream while everybody's watching and mess up your bomb strats on Keyguard 1 or something. So that's the down. You know, that's a reason where you're like, oh.
Well, or on Key Rat with the true boss of Escape.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, okay. Thanks for the confidence that you're inspiring, Uncle. The seed is the worst, he says. In case you're listening and not watching.
I mean, he's not even going to get to the first check. Like, what's he got? Yeah, I know about it. Did a very quick map check there. It looked like Green Pendant, Tower of Hera, and then normal crystals elsewhere, if I saw it right.
Yeah, that's what I saw too, but I couldn't see the color of the crystals very well.
Well, that's a little boring.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, at least we get to see maybe some like NMG Keyguard strats.
I mean, Vanilla Link, Vanilla Sprites, although that's not where that Moon Pearl normally is.
Yeah, that's an interesting spot for it. It's nice to get that early. So now that the drop pools have been standardized, like knowing what's in the drop pool can be really significant. So Mclagging just got the intelligence there was a heart in that drop pool, which means it's not the all bombs drop pool, but it could still have a bomb in it.
Yeah, there's a list of those available on a couple of sites that's worth consulting if you're doing standard mode and not used to it yet. It's a nice spin on Mclagging's side. Goomba does exactly the same.
It's a strat that you see, it's kind of like a only rando strat, since in an NMG you'll get a boomerang in that chest, but it is slightly faster to lure the guard over and spin him like that against the chest in a situation where you don't have the boomerang. Goomba having like just a very little more difficulty with that ball and chain guard. Gets it in the end, but it's these small little differences in execution, of course, that we're like really interested in when we're doing a standard escape together.
Yeah, the difference in exiting escape probably won't matter in the end. Usually races are decided by more than that, but it certainly could.
It's always nice to get like just a little bit of a benchmark, because sometimes when we get deep in and we're really route divergent, it's hard to tell like who might have the very slight execution edge. My instinct here is going to be that these runners are very close in execution, and even little things like ball and chain guard, you can't chalk up too much for that. But it is kind of nice to be able to have that comparison right at the beginning of the match. I missed seeing standards, to be honest. I like that it's
Yeah, although it used to be where the when standard was first a thing, I believe the sword was much less likely than the other weapons.
Oh yeah, in the open tournament. Or not the open tournament. the one that was the last variation. You know what I'm talking about.
So Mclagging with a few seconds lead heading into the dark sewers. For standard, these areas will always have a lamp cone, even if you have to come back with bombs later.
Yeah, that can be a gotcha. I've definitely seen some folks caught up on that if they're newer to Rando. Because normally, you'd think like all this stuff is out of all logic without, a lamp or maybe a fire rod with the new advanced logic. But yeah, in standard, not the case, interestingly. So if you don't get a bomb, you might still be required to come back here.
Yeah, luckily they actually find bombs in that chest, so no more worrying about prize packs. They can just make their way through the sewers with ease.
Goomba winning the RNG competition on that Q-Rat anyway.
Also getting a couple more one bomb drops. I guess the rats are the all bomb prize pull.
Yeah, that's convenient. All right, both of our runners getting a sub 6, of course, as we would anticipate.
Yeah, decent amount from the escape sequence, although most of it actually came from Uncle and his chest.
And if you're an executionophile like me, that was really close. It was cool to see how Goomba made up some time there, partially, due to some RNG and then just some quick thinking and good gameplay. But then I forgot that Goomba had done a map check and not Mclagging. So
Cool magic pot sell for bush crabs today. I don't think we'll be doing AGA 1 for that.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that might not be a worthwhile prize.
But a glove in Lost Woods drop-down spot is certainly nice.
And then Goomba saves and quits. This is an interesting move. Must be wanting to do South Shore before Kakariko. Mclagging, meanwhile, looks like he's going to continue on to, I don't know, what I would consider the more normal meta route, which is to go straight to CAC.
This will really advantage Goomba if he finds a bottle or the flute here and doesn't have to make an extra trip back to Kakariko to handle those.
Yeah, it seems it always seems kind of funny to see people go earlier South Shore because it could be something that bites you if you need to double dip that area. But it's not all that likely that you're going to have like everything that you want to completely 100% South Shore and Zora's domain, which is the disadvantage of going early. So I do like seeing this play because I think that between the two, it's the better gamble. But I was wrong. He's not going total South Shore. He's going Agina, sorry.
It's a lot of cash in Blind Side Out, speaking of Zora, who will be in Logic with that club.
So thinking about Goomba's play here, it's really early to call it like this, but this is something that we might keep our eye out for. Having chosen standard, I'm sorry, no, it was Mclagging's choice to choose standard. Never mind.
Yeah, I think Goomba just likes getting this check out of the way early, but it is just 10 arrows today. I seem to remember him making an early Agina play yesterday in the game one as well.
Okay, so this is maybe a Goomba thing then. Got an early fetch quest in the well from Mclagging there with that mushroom. An interesting thing about Goomba's play here is that, you know, in many ways, checking Agina early. Oh, the boots from Chicken Hut from Mclagging does give him a little bit of an edge when he does come to South Shore just to gain a little bit of time. It's not going to be hugely significant.
Yeah, it depends on if Goomba goes ahead and does Ice Rod Cave. Oh, but there's a hammer. That's very nice. That is Dark World access.
Yeah, this is pretty early. 10 minutes in, hasn't even gone to Kakariko yet. Has Dark World access.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll do like a high cave check before Kakariko with that in mind. And there's the lamp on library, which we can go ahead and grab with those boots.
But yeah, I was gonna say before we got distracted by the boots that it's kind of an interesting route here from Goomba, and I wonder if this might be motivated by reducing some variation a little bit. You know, an early Aga 1 play could seem like a little weird and out there and risky, but you know, maybe choosing standard, going South Shore South Shore first. Excuse me. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Could be thinking that they want to reduce variation a little bit. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, Mclagging made the standard selection, but Goomba does get a bottle out of Ice Rod Cave, so that will save a trip over to CAC, or rather, he'll be able to do Sick Kid on the first trip there.
And looks like you called it. He is going back in for what must be the Dark World.
These are the safer checks as we get a map check. Turtle Rock and Swamp are our remaining pendants. 5-6 at Skullwoods and Ice.
So unfortunately, not much progression that we're going to be able to skip this time around. Or fortunately, depending on if you want this race to go longer. Because it is always their goal to go fast, but it's not necessarily our goal. And Hype Cave check so far turning up nothing but an Ice Rod. Oh, Turtle Rock being a pendant though.
Shocking that an early Ice Rod seed would also have a TR pendant.
Do I sense a little bit of sarcasm there?
It's fine. I'm sure there won't be anything in there we need.
Famous last words.
But yeah, actually, with Swamp and TR, I was being our pendants. There actually are a lot of items that makes potentially optional. Might not need the mirror. Might not need flippers, really. I mean, logically you will for ice, but not really. And then the Ice Rod. Also, you know, there's some interesting hook shot possibilities. I don't know the status of these two runners on, you know, the hover / Moldorm 2 bounce question.
I'm pretty sure I might be misremembering, but isn't Mclagging one of the pioneers of the Moldorm bounce?
You would know that better than I. I am not super in touch with the pioneering tech. I did watch I mean, we did have a race in this tournament come down to Moldorm 2 bounce execution versus the other person could hover. And that was an interesting one.
So I'm sure most of you in chat are aware of what a Moldorm 2 bounce is, but if you don't know, I mean, it is relatively new tech, or if you're new to the community, there is a gap when you finish the game. You know, you need to, in order to defeat Moldorm 2, makes a chest appear, you hook shot across. If you can hover, of course, you can get across anyway. We have the boots, so that comes into play. But there is a technique you can do involving a bomb and getting damaged at exactly the right time and spinning that's ridiculous that allows you to bridge that gap as well. But it's very tight.
Catfish with a second bottle to reward Goomba's routing, and, you know, can check Sick twice now.
I think I was thinking of Aussie. So yeah, I'm not sure actually if Mclagging knows the Moldorm bounce.
It's kind of a wild trick. But yeah, I mean, the odds are good they find the hook shot somewhere along the way, but Swamp being a pendant does put possibilities for that into play. Goomba going to get a little punished by doing the South Cac route because won't be able to pick up the lamp the first visit. With no fire rod, might come back for it because it might be our fire source for Hera Basement or Desert.
Yeah, that would be a real tragedy to miss out on that if that were the case, and you made your way all the way up there. Mclagging saw that there was a Master Sword on the Zora ledge. They did have a water walk, but it wasn't quite enough for them to be able to sequence break to the ledge. So sequence break here is possible. They could decide to go back for that at any time, but also could just wait for the flippers or ignore it entirely.
Yeah, it depends on what other swords come along in the way. May also get, even if not the flippers, might get some of the items for an easier setup for sequence breaking it rather than having to carry a stored water walk and all over there.
First check of Sahas hut and just some garbage.
I'm guessing we'll see Mclagging do some of the Dark World checks we've already seen out of Goomba at this point. Goomba does go back to that lamp. It's kind of hard not to if you don't have the fire rod. I'm guessing if he had the fire rod, he probably would have skipped it.
Yeah, let's see where he goes from here. He's walking out, so maybe he's going to Village of Outcasts.
It would make sense. I would be pretty surprised if Thieves Town weren't the first crystal here. Oh, we hadn't even done Bottle Vendor. The rest of CAC just went back south as soon as he got boots.
Oh, yeah. That's smart. Yeah, if you know you're going to grab it anyway. While we're playing catch-up here, just a good time to, you know, remind you to follow our runners here. Goomba and Mclagging are amazing. This race is just getting started. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, I can say, of course, from personal experience, if you haven't seen them in a race before, they're quite good, and they're, you know, doing us a big favor here by letting themselves be restreamed. So go ahead and help them out there.
Yeah, very rupee rich seed. Mclagging almost up to second Zora money.
Here's a new check from Mclagging here. I don't think that Goomba showed us the dig game before. Goomba getting a spin speed off of the Blind's Hut stair, and there's the second sword from Mclagging.
Yeah, that greatly reduces the odds that he goes back for the Zora ledge one unless it happens to route in nice at some point.
That spin speed on the Blind's Hut stair is just hilarious. Like, it's so easy to forget that that actually is a stairway. And Mclagging looks like they're going to head into the Village of Outcast portal as well here.
Goomba doing some Skullwoods checks before Thieves Town, looks like.
Oh no, man, that was a punishing mummy broom that Goomba was trying to deal with. Takes unintentional death. But hopefully resetting the room will give him some better RNG. Oh no, the statue is just 1 pixel too far to the left. This room is going to be a little harder for Goomba than it will be for Mclagging since, you know, he has only the fighter sword. But you don't normally kill these mummies anyway. That's got to be frustrating though, to have struggled so much in that room, lost a lot of time. You know, that mummy RNG can just be a real pain. And there are the mitts from Mclagging.
Yeah, Village of Outcasts paying off a bit. Not that the mitts make a huge difference in terms of getting them, you know, before or after Skullwoods.
Yeah, it's possible that it could cause Mclagging not to go up right away. Wait till they get a fire rod. Especially since they made the choice to come down to Thieves Town first. So I suppose if the mitts unlock fire rod or something, that could be significant. But yeah, Goomba is certainly going to get mitts very soon here himself.
Yeah, now if fire rod is in Thieves Town, it hurts a little bit because Mclagging will be able to back to front, but not really much in Skullwood so far. Is that both items in the back, or did I miss one?
In Thieves Town?
In Skullwoods.
Oh, in Skullwoods. I didn't see an item. I was also distracted a little by Mclagging's screen, though. But our tracker, Merc249, is telling us that, yeah, both items are in the back. So if Mclagging gets the fire rod first, that could be, you know, a bit of a time save there for him.
Yeah, pretty substantial one if he does back to front and just gets both items and leaves. Oh, and the mirror in Thieves Town. Might see Mclagging do a smith chain out of here between mitts and that.
Yeah, so very early on in the seed, we're getting a lot of items that open up things, which is nice. Like it's early progression, it helps open the seed up a little bit, maybe allow you to go to a crystal dungeon. But so far also means a lot of overworld locations are being opened up, which isn't always spell a fast seed.
Yeah, although that mirror, if Mclagging does do the Smith chain, that routes Cave 45 in nicely.
Yeah, it makes for some good efficiency. I'm just reminded of, that expression that early progression means late go. Early pro.
Well, in fairness, that mirror also is, quite likely not required unless there's something blocked by it, since Swamp is a pendant.
Which is an unfortunate, is a nasty thing to consider. Like sometimes when you get early progression items, the earlier you get them, really, the more that they signpost required progression being behind them. So thinking about, the fact that Mirror could be signposting towards Swamp. Of course, if we got like flippers and hookshot, then that would be a much stronger signpost, since we haven't seen any flipper locked progression yet.
Yeah, that could also be our desert access. Ooh, and Goomba taking a death in the Hellway.
Yeah, this has got to be frustrating for him, having that trouble with the mummies in Skullwoods and now a death in Thieves Town.
Speaking of Smith chain, there's the powder, and we do have both mirror and hammer, so all kinds of access to it.
Yeah, wow, talk about efficiency. Goomba on 2 hearts, not taking any chances, doing some safe strats on that grasshopper there. I don't blame him at all.
Yeah, Mclagging and blue mail through that. With that green mail that Goomba has, those do 2 hearts of damage, which is a bad number for him right now.
So in terms of crystal dungeons, I was gonna say nothing yet that we can totally full clear, but actually that's not true, is it? Ice Palace, it's not in logic without the flippers, but maybe we don't care. But it's really early, like 26 minutes going to Ice Palace. I'm just trying to think, there's all this overworld stuff that makes sense for Mclagging to finish up, but where do you go after that?
Yeah, depends on how confident you feel. I don't love, Hammer or Master Sword Gold Stare on 7 hearts myself, but they might feel fine with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have to factor in the time you might lose to doing like low percent Cold Stare, or just, having low health and Ice Palace at all can be a real struggle.
What Mclagging would really love to see along this chain somewhere is Bow, because then you can just do Pod Eastern combo.
Oh yeah, definitely. With that mirror, that'd be so sweet. Mclagging leaving the chest behind to do that. I forget what the glitch is called. Purple chest leaving glitch.
I think it's referred to in the Racing Council document as the chest warp or something like that.
We got to come up with a more memorable name for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. The strength of the Link to the Past community is not naming things. As they visit Cave 45 and such.
Yeah, I have to bear a little bit of responsibility for that as a person who has named something. So I apologize, everybody.
I don't know if it counts as naming something if it's just named after you.
Oh yeah, well see, I didn't name that one, so I don't have to take responsibility for that. Yeah, that was not what I was talking about.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know what you're talking about. So, thank you for taking a break from breaking this game to commentate with me, though.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's fun to watch other people break it, right? Mclagging heading up to the Death Mountain, so oh, that's right, with the hammer and the mirror. Yeah, there's a lot more open to him than he was considering before, so this is... Tower Hera being a pendant, though, means that it is just overworld stuff he's looking at, like not progression towards crystals, which, like, I mean, when you think about it, how many items away from Go mode are we even? It's not that far.
Depends on what the Mire entry requirement is, but bow, fire rod, flute, red cane. I mean, technically hookshot. Speaking of, hi, bow.
Yeah, so could be 4.
That old man check has been available for a long time, too. Most of this stuff got brought in with the mirror, but...
Yeah, I know that it's definitely the meta right now to avoid going up the mountain unless you can get to the east side, or Tower of Hera is a crystal and you can get there. So they didn't have access to do that stuff until just recently.
It's a long way for 2 checks.
Yeah, it's a long way for 2 checks, I think, is the standard reasoning. Although, in my opinion, it's a long way to get there, but you get the old man save and quit, and you're likely to have to climb the mountain anyway. So it's really just the climb from the old man to Spec Rock that you're wasting by double dipping. And that's only if you are going to Tower of Hera via Mira, not via the hookshot route. So I'll get off my soapbox now, but it's just an interesting aspect of the meta right now.
Yeah, it looks like Mclagging is going to climb Hera. Now, this is the green pendant, so it's 3 items instead of the usual 2. Especially since with that bow, going to be doing the eastern area after the mountain, you have to assume, regardless of what he finds up here.
Yeah, 2 crystals, 8 items. Sounds good. Well, I guess 9 with that green pendant.
And I guess there's somewhere where you just get everything that you need for Turtle Rock. No, Turtle Rock's a pendant. Never mind, I was about to say there's somewhere where maybe you do that. But no, that was a weird setup.
That bomb jump from Mclagging? Yeah, that's... Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yeah, that seemed like an unusual setup for that jump to me. But...
We don't see it very often in Rando. It's more of an NMG strat. It's pretty risky. It looks like he had the pause buffer there 3 times, so ideally you want to just pause buffer once, like he itemed to the hammer there, which would have been a perfect one. But yeah, it's pretty smooth. It's risky though. In NMG, you care about seconds, so if you're super competitive, you always do it. In Rando, though, it's so punishing if you fail.
Yeah, and it looks like there is an item in the basement.
Oh
King's Gem
no.
has our flippers.
So with those flippers, of course, Small Palace is now not only in logic, but it is being a little bit signposted since we haven't gotten any progression from that mirror yet, or those flippers.
Shortest distance I've ever seen a water walk set up for. On Goomba's side.
Sorry, I missed that about the water walk.
Just that seemed like a very short distance to set up the water walk for when you have the flippers. Goomba setting it up just to get across the river to the witch's hut.
Oh, that's hilarious. You know, I'd have to time it, but now I think about it, like maybe it is actually slightly faster if you do it really fast, the water walk setup. But it also could be that he had like it in his mind, since he didn't have the flippers until just then, that he was going to do that to get across.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, it may have saved time, but if it saved time, it wasn't more than a second. Like, literally. Mclagging getting the book up on Death Mountain, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if he'll run back over to Ether Tablet. Desert's guaranteed clearable with that, but you'd really rather get the flute and not have to walk over there.
Oh, Goomba saving and quitting as soon as he gets that bow. Screw the rest of Death Mountain. I've got crystals to clear.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. Maybe he gets hookshot, you know, while he's on this chain, or that allows him to check hookshot cave, or maybe he finds out he never has to go to the mountain at all. But there is the Canis Samaria, so he will.
And that book may or may not be necessary as well. It's always possible that flute's like inside of desert.
Oh.
Well, this answers a question about if Mclagging has a way across the Moldorm 2 gap. It doesn't make it there, but if you're confident enough to try it here, you're definitely going to do it for over a hookshot hunt.
Han decides to skip out here, taking too long. But that could definitely come into play. I mean, the only item we're really lacking now, well, items, is Fire Rod and
Yeah, and maybe Ether. It's actually not even 1 in 3 because the medallions you see are more likely to be the medallion requirements, since the ones you don't find could be in GT.
Yeah, it's that signposting thing as well. Oh, but there is the hook shot.
So Goomba is gonna have to go the long way around Death Mountain at some point, for that cane at least.
And Mclagging heading back up the mountain just to check that hookshot cave. I'm sure he loved seeing that.
I mean, he also got Red Cane. There's a really awful option available if he wants to.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if he dives Turtle Rock, I'd have to respect, I'd have to respect him after that. But it would be, I think it would be an indication of, like, feeling like he has to gamble, This early Pendant Turtle Rock, when you have Eastern and Pod, crystals you can clear together, would be quite a bold move for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Okay, he's quitting out after that with the mirror shield. I was figuring he might do Ether Tablet and Spike Cave, but chose to leave. Potentially really key moment coming up here is if this green pendant turn-in has something that's going to really hurt for Goomba.
Yeah, and with that fire rod on Goomba side, that we are so close to go mode now.
Yeah, so Flute is like the big one that it could be.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, when Goomba save and quit after getting that bow, one of the advantages of that is if you wait till you get hookshot to clear Eastside Death Mountain, you can do it all in one go, whereas your opponent might not have been able to. Unfortunately, in this case, if that's part of his thought process, that might drive him away from going to the mountain, which might mean go moding more dungeons, depending on how early we get that go mode here. And by go mode, I mean the flute. The stuff that will unlock more crystal dungeons for him to do.
Yeah, I mean, Mclagging after this fire rod. I mean, the fire rod really wants to send you over to Skullwoods, especially Goomba. I don't think Mclagging did the front of Skullwoods, but Goomba knows 2 items are waiting there in the back for him. And also Ice, Pyramid Fairy, like, there's a lot Goomba can do before going up the mountain. No, Ice can be cane locked, but it depends on the key layout. Specifically, in that case, it just depends on if Cold Stare has a small key.
Yeah, which at that point, you've already full cleared the dungeon. So it might give you some intel about, like, logical requirements.
Well, the big thing there is if the cane is up the mountain, we know, and we're talking about him putting it off, that would let him know it's not on Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, I see.
But the flute is in here.
Oh, this is a very exciting revelation. If Meyer is not Ether, this could have just really swung the race. Because this will mean that Mclagging is in go mode here, if indeed Meyer's not Ether. While Goomba has to make the decision now to go up Death Mountain when there are crystal dungeons to do. Meanwhile, Mclagging full, go moding these dungeons, Goomba full clearing them potentially.
Yeah, the big one there is Ice Palace. A tempered sword in the big chest makes it a lot easier through there. That's our last sword, because we know the last one's on Zoral Edge.
Yeah, that's, I mean, for having seen a sword that we haven't gotten yet, and to have Goomba with tempered 42 minutes in, when we think we might be very close to go mode, is, in terms of having lots of safeties, pretty fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't hate seeing silvers, but it's not a huge deal. Most runners would pick tempered sword over silvers, given their choice of the two.
Oh yeah, especially this early when you have so many boss fights left.
In fairness, Silver's really trivialized, at least Vitreous, but yeah, I mean, tempered on like Cold Stare is a huge difference.
And Mclagging with the flute, so probably feeling pretty dang good now about going up to Death Mountain when he did. Which I think so far in his route, that would be the one thing where he's like, oh, this is where Divergence could have happened. And indeed, Divergence did happen. So he's probably feeling pretty confident right now. Meanwhile, Goomba has to make the decision to go up Death Mountain and not having gotten at least security in his knowledge of his route Divergence, not going up Death Mountain and taking a few deaths in some dungeons. Might not be feeling as good.
He's got a lot of dungeons he can full clear that are crystals before that too. So, I mean, I would expect Mclagging will full clear Eastern after this, but the difference between go mode and Eastern and full clearing it is basically non-existent.
Yeah, it's definitely not like ice or something.
And you probably just gamble on, you know you're maybe ether away. You probably just gamble that vanilla big key chest in Eastern doesn't have that if it's not the vanilla big key.
Oh, don't curse these runners. You know they'll blame you if that's what happens in the race. Can you imagine?
It would be remarkable. That blue boomerang should have switched over to the red, it would have reached.
It is again, I'm pretty sure Mclagging has a good NMG time, if I remember the leaderboards correctly, but that is a total NMG move as well. Like, if you don't have sword beams there, you pull out the blue boomerang. So that could also be muscle memory.
Yeah, I'm not an NMG runner myself, but I'm guessing that route does not pick up the red meringue.
Oh yeah, definitely not. 100% of course, but yeah, Mclagging just looked it up. 101st on the leaderboard with a 128.53, which is pretty respectable.
And there's the big key not in its vanilla location, at least.
So it's interesting that I thought Goomba dived out, but no, he beat Helma. I just wasn't looking. Never mind. Yeah, if you're Goomba in this case, you know there are 2 items in the back of Skull. It's not going to hurt him too terribly to go grab them. But you're going to probably do that, probably do Desert, maybe even do Ice Palace before you decide to go up Death Mountain at this point.
And Ice Palace is in logic, and it's 5 items effectively. Because of Pyramid Fairy.
Mm-hmm. Goomba with that crystal, let's see where he goes. Well, it's probably going to save and quit and activate that flute. But after that...
Yeah, I mean, there's a 100% chance that Mclagging goes over to my area, I would think. But for Goomba, a little more choice, but that's still a pretty dense location. May just head into Skull Woods, though, since you're in the vicinity right after activating it.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Mclagging with his third crystal, and also maybe we probably go mode. We're going to find out soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, the exact percent on this depends on how many locations they've already checked, but it's something like 73, 74%, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, factored in is just the way the fill algorithm works, that if you get an item, the earlier you get it, the more likely it is to lead to progression. I think I mentioned that earlier. So they got both the medallions, I believe, in Hype Cave, which is Sphere 1, making it pretty probable that that's what's supposed to open up Misery Mire.
Yeah, even more than the signpost thing, it's possible for the medallion they don't have to be in GT and thus locked behind Mire.
Yeah, I don't know how the math works out on that. In terms of fill algorithm versus GT, GT item density and all that. But yeah, it makes sense. All right, moment of truth. Are we looking for the Ether medallion or not? Not at all.
Nope. And Mclagging definitely knows he's in go mode. I mean, he skipped the big chest of Eastern, which could have had an item at that point, so definitely was acting in full go mode.
Wow, somehow I missed that. That's pretty bold. All right, Goomba now having finished off Mothula. Or sorry, did he? Yeah, no, he's just getting the chest, right?
This is going to be a nice long go mode for Mclagging. It's a lot of crystals left that he gets to just hit.
See where Goomba flutes to. Yeah, desert. Makes sense. Gonna do those easy crystals first. Oh, wait.
Yeah, he's just checking the ledge item first.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting way to check the ledge item.
Goomba also sees that he can get into Mire, but he can't finish it without the red cane. I find silvers in the shed.
Yeah, I doubt that Mclagging is going to take the time to go check the shed at this point.
Yeah, there's no chance. He would have done it before he went in. Which would have been the best time to do it, given silvers and vitreous. Like, if he had known for a fact silvers were there, would have done it, but not making random checks at this point.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if he took the time to pick it up, if it would even make up for itself at this point.
Oh, it would. Phase 4 Ganon is something like 40 seconds difference.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a whole section of desert that Mclagging is not going to do. So even in these dungeons where, depending on the layout, go mode might not matter at all, it's going to matter.
Yeah, it's interesting because if Goomba is thinking about, like, maybe they could hover, maybe they can Moldorm bounce, it could be that all they're really looking for to be in go mode is the Canis and Maria. But it's not going to matter because Kane and Hookshot are in the same area, basically.
Yeah, although might skip out on that hookshot because that was in a later check than the Cane was by most routes of Death Mountain.
Yeah, Spiral Cave can be an easy one to skip. Like if he was thinking about hovering or bouncing, then that would be a good idea at that point to skip it, because it's like, yeah, I could check Spiral Cave, but I could also check every single other chest on the way. So might as well just go mode.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's actually a real chance Mclagging is on the way to GT before Goomba makes it up to the mountain, depending on routing choices here. Because a full clear of ice versus a go mode ice is just an enormous difference.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Goomba took a dip inside Mire to try to find that Canis and Maria.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time doing that myself over like all of like Death Mountain and most of Dark, but I could see it.
That was a great Vitreous fight from Mclagging there. Again, like another NMG strat, deboosting off of that goo to be able to do it before the eye even shoots its first lightning bolt is actually a lot harder, a lot tighter than it looked. And Zelda pointing out that Mclagging has exactly 0 arrows now, so good job.
Yeah,
Way to count, Mclagging.
Empty bow icon. Plenty of time to refill on arrows before GT, though. Like, right there. And Goomba heading up the mountain, so we'll be in go mode. That's good to see for those rooting for a tight race.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, didn't lose too much time on not being able to go mode, assuming that he gets the Cane and the hookshot here relatively quickly on the route. We would have lost, a little bit of time in desert that we saw, a little bit of time in Skullwoods, but other than that, not a huge difference.
Yeah, and the time in Skullwoods was lost a long time ago when he did the front of it, and it turned out to have 0 items.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that, once they kind of sync up here and they cover each other's tracks again, Mclagging will still have the lead, at least based off of where they are now, but it's not going to be quite as distant as it could be, assuming Goomba does pick up these progression items here.
Yeah, the going up the mountain before doing ice is going to be the biggest difference. I do think Mclagging is still a little bit ahead, but definitely room for Goomba to make it up.
He skips out on Tower of Hera and is grabbing the hookshot here from Spiral Cave first, which, I can't imagine him skipping Paradox Cave after that. So this is like maybe the most efficient way he could have gotten these items, like maybe the most efficient route.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mclagging's got to go do Skullwoods. Goomba's got to do Mire. The Mire layout was not especially friendly.
So Goomba deciding to go up Dark Death Mountain first, instead of through Paradox Cave.
Probably mirroring here and doing paradox, and yeah, it looks like I've seen this a lot lately where people bring the portal closer.
I have never seen any, but that's really cool. So then you intend to fall down in Paradox Cave and go back in the portal. That's really smart.
Yeah, although in this case, I imagine he won't be doing that, and he will just be leaving.
Oh yeah, totally. he'll have what he needs, unless he's hyper paranoid about that ether medallion. But I think most runners will just nope out in that case.
He didn't have to be hyper paranoid. He saw Myra earlier.
Yeah, you're right.
And while he's a little, doesn't even check the rest of Paradox.
Wow.
Just nope, we're out of here.
Literally the fastest he could have found those 2 items on his Death Mountain journey, which does make up actually a bit of time. Like
that's pretty significant. It does also have the silvers, so gonna have an edge on the Ganon fight. Not really many other fights left where it's gonna. Well, no, he hasn't done Vitreous yet, actually, so also an edge there. Mclagging's Vitreous was very good, though.
Yeah, with Tempered Sword and that NMG strat that is really, really fast. Can't make up too much time after that. But at least the last eyeball, you'll save a few seconds there for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be Mire and Ice versus Ice and Skull Woods. Mclagging already, part of the way through Ice as Goomba enters Mire.
Nice whiz robe room from Goomba. So Mclagging sets up the bond jump perfectly. So yeah, Goomba's got to make his way to that cutscene to find that big key.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, it's kind of a rough Mire layout. So Mclagging is, I think, still got a pretty decent lead, but this is going to be close enough that I think Ganon's tower routing will be able to make up the distance.
Yeah, definitely. Goomba is not out of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, Skullwoods is also going to be faster than the Gomo to Ice for the second half of their respective 2 crystals. They get away a little bit, but pretty good cold stare. And if Goomba had done Ice, he would have known it was cane locked, but fortunately not going to be something he's going to have to worry about.
Goomba taking, going to the cutscene chest before the net chest, so, and the other chest. There's a couple ways you could route here. So he is taking the faster way, just as it happens, where the big key is today.
Yeah, I know there's certain key layouts that imply where the big key is. I do not know them myself, so I'm not sure if he could have reasoned that out from where he saw the small keys.
Yeah, there's the big thing to know if you're interested in key layout and Mire is if the chest that's kind of like north of where you would go to do the cutscene chest, you do the fire rod stuff, and you light the torches, you go north. If that chest has a small key, then the big key is guaranteed to be in the cutscene chest. But I didn't actually see if that was the case this time. I don't think it was. I think he got his 2 keys elsewhere. Or 3 keys, rather. Oh, Hamza saying in chat that was the case. Okay, so Goomba knew and deduced that that's where the big key was.
Skullwoods is actually, I think, the dungeon where there's going to be the biggest time gap between the two of them, since Mclagging gets to just go straight for Mothula, and Goomba checked literally the entire dungeon.
Yeah, which was like probably the difference between them right now. You know, Goomba made up a little bit of that time on Death Mountain, and not having done Hera.
Not doing Hera was like the biggest thing in Goomba's favor.
But also still feeling that effect of a couple of deaths, especially that Thieves Town death. Oh, yeah. That was very fast fight from Mclagging. That's almost the very fastest you can do that fight. Very fastest? That's not grammar.
Try most fastest.
Thanks. I'll rely on you for the the better grammar. So Mclagging, in the blink of an eye, now has 7 crystals and is making his way up to Gannis Tower. If you would like to join us for a fun game, we like to guess where the big key is going to be in one of however many chests. What is it, 22 chests that could be in Gannis Tower?
Yeah. I guess I'll be nice and turn on the bot for chat. I'm going to root for it to be somewhere early, though, because this is shaping up to be a remarkable finish time as Mclagging's heading up at 105.
Yeah, depending on where the big key is, it would be difficult, but it's possible to sub 120 this, which would be insane to see. So Mclagging entering the tower at just about 106 will give us a little baseline here for when Goomba does enter. But yeah, he's not even quite. He's like 3 rooms away from Cold Stare. So and then has to climb up the mountain. So probably a couple minutes behind.
And not on the torch today.
Mclagging going for one of the Dark Magician strats anyway. Let's see what Goomba does on the Cold Stare. This is another opportunity for him to make up a little bit of time if he does this fight pretty optimally.
Yeah, I wonder if that's Mclagging's usual routing, or if the Goomba did Dark Magician yesterday. I wonder if Mclagging might feel ahead based on routing.
Oh yeah, interesting.
A little bit of trouble in the mummy conveyor room here.
Mummies today.
The cane does not want to line up with the switch, it appears. As Goomba heads up towards the tower. There's our ether.
As predicted, and the big key.
So I believe that's number 11.
Sounds about right.
Let me just map this in my head. 6 plus 5. Yep, 11. All right.
Mclagging struggling a little bit in the gauntlet, or not even quite as a gauntlet yet on these mimics. I mean, he knows he's on an incredible pace. He's got the route. So, like, this is the moment, you know, when you're in Gannis Tower, you're making the ascent. You're, you know, if you're the kind of person who keeps IRC open, you're glancing over. Has my opponent finished yet? The nerves are real.
Yeah, at 110 you probably are like, I think I'm ahead, but you never know. I think most racers always feel behind.
Yeah, something about the psychology of who enjoys this kind of thing that makes you always think that you're worse than you are. Oh, well, that was a great blue Zizak room. Got a little bit helped by RNG there, but he also played it pretty well. But the red Zizak room not as clean, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably going to take a powder here on the anti-fairy coming up. I don't remember exactly what's in the bottles. Okay, I'm wrong.
Yeah, it could be if he does want to heal, might do it in the pre-Moldorm 2 room, just to not mess up the Landmo RNG here. Or not RNG, but the starting pattern.
Right.
Which, I mean, he was 3.5 hearts when he came in. Yeah, I mean, other than Landmo, you usually don't take too much damage here unless you get hit by a fork from one of the guard.
Yeah, also on blue mail, so not quite as fragile as Goomba's green.
Oh yeah, good point. Goomba going straight, though, to the big key now.
Mclagging burns his green pot to get magic for the torch room.
So Goomba grabbing his big key as Mclagging is heading into the mini Helma room. Quite a lead for Mclagging here. Oh, that was an interesting hook shot there on that that blue switch box thing. I've never seen that hook shot before.
It's a relatively quick Moldorm 2. And about to head into Agatu as Goomba has a little bit of trouble with the bridge here. Gonna go into the refill room here.
Yeah, I tried to dash to those cannonballs there, which is possible, but there are like, I can't remember how many. There's over like 16 different cannonball patterns you have to memorize in order to be able to do that, so it's very difficult to do that consistently.
2-3 so far, so just needs one more hit. 3 cycle on Agatu.
Wow.
I think he's going to get the sub 120 unless this Ganon goes very badly.
Yeah, this is going to be an amazing finish time. So Mclagging getting a 3-phase cycle 1 and 1-phase cycle 2 to start Ganon off. It looks like he's going for a lamp to get the torch glitch instead of fire rod. I don't blame him at all.
No, especially with having had to burn that green potion. I'm pretty sure he's just got this 1 bar of magic to work with. As long as he plays it conservatively, he'll be fine. There's like a million places that could be from Mclagging's point of view. We know it was Meyer's shed.
Yeah, somewhere in the dark world. Thanks, Ganon. Getting a lot of very nice triples here. Some of those patterns were really hard to get triples onto, but
Yeah. Gonna just missed the 115, it looks like. Get your GGs in chat for Mclagging, who wins this game to force a game 3. As he finishes in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 14 seconds.
very well played. That was a great run for Mclagging. Two hits on Agatu right now for Goomba. Oh my god. Oh, it was almost a triple. Was that the triple that Mclagging got?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's a hard pattern to get a triple on.
And Goomba takes down Agatu, heading into the Ganon fight as well. We're joined by Mclagging in chat. Give us just a moment here. Goomba's just finishing up this Ganon fight, and then we can do the interview with probably with both of you if he's going to join us as well. That was a 1 cycle phase 1 Ganon for Goomba.
Yeah, that was quite nice. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I said 3 cycle phase 1 Mclagging. I meant 2. I always forget how the cycles work on Ganon, like how you count them.
Yeah, the first position doesn't count as a cycle for whatever reason by community agreement. Into phase 4. We'll have a slightly quicker phase 4 because of those silver arrows.
See if you can get a double here. Oh, but it's a bad pattern to get a double on.
That position. That would have been a good one, but only needs 1 more hit. And Ganon explodes. Get your GGs in chat for Goomba, who just needs to cross this bridge. and finishes in
Wow.
second place with an official time of 1 hour, 18 minutes even.
So I just got to point this out. Looking at IRC here, this is not a PB for either runner. That is incredible. Definitely good games to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And GG Mclagging.
Hey, I think that was the nicest seed I've ever gotten in V31. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it was certainly among the nicer ones I've ever seen. We are also joined by Goomba. GG Goomba.
Hey, GG.
Hey, GG Goomba.
So I gotta ask, first of all, like, is this true? This is not your guys' standard PB?
No.
do you happen to know what it is?
111 something.
I think mine's like a 112 or something like that on
Yeah,
standard.
that's so crazy. I mean, I know that like PBs don't mean as much in Brando, but you know, it can be an indication absolutely of skill, and just in terms of like the amount of seeds that you need to play to get a seed that is like this one. But good games to the both of you. That was a really great race to watch.
Yeah. I don't like jet seeds, especially not in a tournament setting.
Same. I thought I checked way too much, and I was very worried I was going to see a dot done at any time from Goomba.
I mean, I knew I was host because I made some serious execution flubs, and I did try to skip some stuff to make up for it, but there wasn't enough to skip in the seed. It was too fast.
Yeah, I liked the play from you, Goomba, putting off Death Mountain and just taking that bow right away to the Crystal Dungeons, while Mercer went to clear the rest of Death Mountain. Or sorry,
Mclagging.
Mercer. I just said Mercer. Mclagging. Thank you.
I was in the challenge cup. My standard PB is like 150.
Sorry. Yeah, so I liked that play a lot. You were still like 4 items away from Go mode. Super cool. But unfortunately, yeah, the 2 final items were on Death Mountain. So that did hurt like a little bit in the long run too, since Mclagging got to Go mode. I think 2 additional dungeons. 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, I skipped the big key chest in Eastern Palace anyway, and there wasn't much time to be saved in Desert. I assumed those were the 2 extra ones.
Yeah.
So I don't think it made that much of a difference. I mean, the big thing was getting the boot so late. And also the derps in Skullwoods and Thievestown. It's probably the entire time difference there, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Mclagging ever did the front of Skullwoods, if I remember correctly. So
No, I went straight into
I
town.
normally don't. The only reason I did it this time is because I had the cape, so I wanted to go check Bumper Ledge anyway, so I figured if I'm passing through Skullwoods, I may as well open these chests while I'm here. But turns out this was not the seed for those types of plays. So, yeah.
I was also curious about like we saw you almost trying to hover hookshot cave Mclagging, and then only to find the hookshot, in the
Immediately after.
spiral cave. Yeah, immediately after.
I was laughing so hard. It's like, I'm glad I only gave it 2 attempts and didn't keep trying.
Yeah, I was not about to waste my time on that. I already felt super behind. If it came down to it, I would have made some attempts at hovering Moldorm 2, but I don't know. I'm not confident enough in hovering to rely on it all that much. But if I have to, I'll go for it, I guess.
Yeah, because for you, it really came down to, I mean, well, really both of you in the end. Well, no, it was mostly Goomba that it came down to the Kane and the hookshot. So it could have been you found Kane, hookshot was your go mode, and hovering Moldorm 2 would have been a thing. Is there a world in which if you had checked Paradox first, you would have skipped Spiral Cave?
Yes, absolutely. like once I realized I was Kane and sort of hookshot for go mode, I just said to myself, okay, if the Kane shows up first, I'll just go for it.
Yeah, we were speculating a little bit early in the seed, or not even that early, given how long it took, as to whether the two of you could bypass Moldrum 2 if needed. It sounds like both of you at least are willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not the best at it, but I can do it.
Yeah, about the same. Not super consistent, but I think if I had to, I might be able to do it. Well, don't know until it happens, though.
No.
Yeah, so I believe y'all's game 3 is scheduled for tomorrow. Have you made a decision on the mode change, if any, Goomba?
I'm leaning map compass shuffle. I'm not sure though. I'm gonna have to think about it a bit more. So I guess I will get back to you, Mclagging, about that within the
Sounds
next
good.
couple hours or something.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not entirely decided yet.
Sure. Any other thoughts on the seed from either of you? There weren't really that many decision points, kind of the nature of a jet seed.
I mean, I say it every time, and I'll say it again. I hate jet seats. They're boring.
Yeah, I feel about the same, but our game 1 was 4 minutes apart. This one was just under 3 minutes. Excited for game 3 and see what happens in that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in fairness, jet seeds seem to be a rare and precious gem in V31. But
I'm not sure if precious is the word I would use.
Fair enough. Good luck to the both of you going into your final, game 3 match here.
yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
So yeah, everybody should give both of our runners tonight a follow, as well as watch their game 3 tomorrow if you can. If you're interested in more tournament action, there are more games scheduled tonight, which I will pull up when I click to the right tab. So that's going to be currently in progress, probably, is still Jet 082 versus Trinex over on Speed Gaming 5. And then game 1 between Gamachu and Ak the Boker at 11:50 tonight on the main channel, for those of you who are maybe in a different time zone or are late night owls. Also give our tracker a follow. That is Merc249.
Oh yeah, shout outs to Merc for coming out of his tracker retirement for this race.
Absolutely. Shout outs to all the trackers. Y'all do the hard work. It's easy to talk into the microphone. But even so, thank you for doing so, Kern.
Yeah, well, maybe it's easy for you, but yeah, it's been a pleasure, Mercer. And I'm looking forward to that Gamachu Act the Boker match. We also got a couple of great comms on that match as well. Fear Agent and Frostbite 3030 looks like, so should be quite good on Speed Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts from you on this seed before I kind of sign us off?
I'm good.
Okay, so yeah, everybody should give a follow to Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTPR Randomizer and the same 2 through 5. I've been Mercer. Kern was my co-com. And everybody have a really great night.
Good night, everyone.